Yeah, and then there's the DEI press secretary telling you that the DEI vice president is the future of the party here. And so the future looks kind of dim for the Democrats here, but this is no shocker either. Kamala Harris, she's the original Haktua girl. That's the way she got where she is. And the party's going downhill if it's in her hands.
That was tough. That was harsh.
And, of course, her whole history is DEI, diversity, exclusion, and equity.
What about white females? What about any other group? When you go down that route, you take mediocrity, and that's what they have right now as a vice president.
So are you suggesting she was a DEI hire?
100%. She was a DEI hire.
They used to lie for Joe, and now they're going to lie for her. They're saying she's not DEI. They're saying she's not liberal. They're actually scrubbing their articles where they say all this.
Immediately after VP Kamala Harris was announced as Biden's successor after he dropped out of the presidential race, MAGA world wasted no time attacking Harris's identity with the typical bigotry and misogyny you'd expect out of the political party that doesn't want women to have a say in their own healthcare decisions.
Do these donors really think that Kamala Harris is going to do better in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania than Joe Biden would? I mean, that's the because it can't be anybody else, right?
Hey, Rob, you're being logical. Stop it, all right? She's a DEI hire, right? She's a woman. She's colored, therefore she's got to be good.
They are in a box where they've got to choose between a mentally incompetent president and a DEI vice president.
If they can drag him across the finish line and install Kamala, we have a DEI presidency that they can celebrate for the rest of the administration.
Bottom line here is that it's going to go to Kamala, if anybody, because she was a DEI hire.
John, you shouldn't talk like that. It makes you sound like a racist. Don't talk like that.
And we warned you that things were only going to get worse as election season went on, especially after taking the pulse of the MAGA base and delegates at the RNC.
DEI does not work anywhere.
DEI doesn't work anywhere?
Yes, and she's a big pusher of it. No, it doesn't work. If you're qualified for the job, you should have the job. If you're not qualified, you shouldn't have it.
Were you opposed to affirmative action then?
Biggest joke in the world.
While these Trump supporters were careful with the words, the sentiments remained the same. VP Harris is not qualified for president solely because she didn't properly earn any of her career accomplishments because of her identity.
This is where the president has his most impact. You have a lot of room to maneuver there as commander-in-chief. We don't know who she is. We don't know what she believes. She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. Right now,
Jesse,
Jesse, I don't like that.
Figuratively,
Take
again,
it back.
Have their way with her, control her, not in a sexual way.
And then you have creeps like Jesse Waters, who openly admitted to slashing the tires on his female intern's car so he could trap her into asking him for a ride home, saying this on the most popular television news network, that's in quotes, that was so bad even his female co-hosts were appalled.
There's been some attention to comments I made on the show yesterday about VP Harris. People are misconstruing my comments to mean something inappropriate. I wasn't suggesting anything of a sexual nature. I was expressing my opinion that Vice President Harris's current leadership style could be an issue if elected.
Fox executives would force him to walk back this gross attempt at a joke, but we all know that these words are meaningless coming from someone with the history Waters has.
Really, Jesse offered me a ride on the tractor, and I declined.
Yes, that was a euphemism.
You're gross.
I see a poll like this, and I get excited. That thrill just went down my leg. Permission to speak on behalf of high school girls. Sees shrinkage? I don't see shrinkage. This scandal's a grower, Ronaldo. Let's say you have a horrible sex life. Humans are driven by sex. Men want to mate. Women want to mate.
What are you craving right now?
Steak.
Ooh,
I'm actually really hungry.
Wow, there you go. How about you, Jesse?
Sex.
Shout out to Decoding Fox News for making the sacrifice of sifting through footage of Waters to put this mashup together. And speaking of creepy, uncomfortable footage to watch.
You really want me to believe that we have to save democracy by voting for Kamala Harris? If Kamala Harris could get in office and ensure she'd never leave again, she'd do it. Kamala Harris has done nothing but climb the ladder of power since the moment she got up off her knees in front of Willie Brown, to put it bluntly to you. Kamala Harris has just been a social ladder climber her entire time in office. She has climbed as far as she could, and now she's hoping to go to the highest office of the land. She's done nothing in the private sector. She doesn't know jack about the private sector other than flipping burgers at McDonald's when she was in college, and that's not the graduate experience that you would want from a competent person to be president of the United States of America.
Conservative radio blowhard Erick Erickson, who also happens to be an occasional CNN contributor, hopped on the bigoted bandwagon and reduced Kamala Harris's career to nothing more than being given unearned opportunities from powerful men when just days later, Donald Trump reposted this disgusting post on his Truth Social account. The sheer absurdity of a former president co-signing something like this while actively campaigning for president again says all you need to know about how Trump and his base of support feel about women and their role in the professional world. But we've known this all along, and it doesn't take a genius to see that this is just the latest entry into a long documented history of misogyny from Donald Trump.
It was by far the nastiest to Joe Biden. There was nobody nastier than her.
She was extraordinarily nasty to Kavanaugh. She was nasty to a level that was just a horrible thing. She was probably nastier than even Pocahontas.
By the racist Attorney General of New York State, Letitia Peekaboo James.
How about low IQ Maxine Waters?
Omarosa is obviously the ultimate villain and the nastiest. I think it's a very nasty question when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
And like clockwork, the Trump campaign is bending over backward to do damage control.
Why was Donald Trump, over the last 36 hours on his social media, reposting slogans from QAnon and reposting misogynistic, sexist content about Vice President Harris?
I don't think your viewers at home are concerned about social media posts. I think they are concerned with the news of the day than they were under Donald Trump. The news of the day as a new mother.
Do you know why he posted that? Do you know why he reposted that content?
I haven't been able to talk to President Trump yet this morning because he is calling into media interviews, unlike Kamala Harris, who has been avoiding the press for more than 40 days.
Why he is reposting content from QAnon and this misogynistic content.
Again, I will say I have not spoken to President Trump about that content this morning, and I don't think Americans are concerned with social media posts. But you said misogynistic. I assume you're also going to say that the posts were demeaning to women. I think what's demeaning to women is what has been allowed to happen over the last 4 years.
It's interesting to me that you don't think they're bad. You have no problem with them.
I didn't say that. I said that I don't think voters care. I think that voters care about the. I said I care about what's happening to our country right now.
Deflection, projection, and refusing to take responsibility and be held accountable. Trump spokeswoman Carolyn Leavitt is following the MAGA playbook to a T.